Today, we celebrate the Buddha's birthday in Korea. I want to give you guys a little bit of a cultural history around the Buddha's birthday, because it's celebrated differently throughout different parts of the world. So, in Korea, we celebrate it on the lunar calendar's April 8th. This year, it happens to be on this date. But the lunar calendar is different from the Gregorian calendar. So basically, if you're following the Gregorian calendar, it's gonna be a different date every year. But in any case, Korea celebrates, well, not celebrates, recognizes Buddha's birthday, Buddha's day of awakening, and the day of Buddha's passing. So these three are separate dates, but the birthday is a national holiday. But a lot of the Theravada countries in Southeast Asia and South Asia in general, they combine these three dates into one day called Vesak Day. And Vesak, Vesak, not the sock day, but I guess it sounds similar. But anyway, it is an important day in Buddhism because, the four holy sites in Buddhism also are where Buddha was born, where Buddha awakened, where Buddha died, and the one addition to this is where Buddha first spread his teachings, because he could have kept all that wonderfully nice wisdom to himself, but he decided to start teaching, and then he became like a teacher of mankind, is what we like to call him in Korea, right? So, a little bit of a Buddhist lore around Buddha's birthday is that these stories tend to have a bit of a fantastical element to it, to be a little bit more allegorical, teach you a lesson about things. But as you're listening to this, try to just think of what the symbolisms are and what the historical fact might be. And a lot of people don't know this, but the Buddha was a person who actually existed. But yeah, because of the records, they like to add some fantastical elements, and they add some spices to the story to make it a little bit more appealing to the storytelling crowd. And that's how it kind of becomes this like, whoa, Buddha's this like godlike guy that can't be further from the truth. But anyway, Buddha's parents were king and queen of a kingdom called Kapilavastu, which is in current day India and Nepal border area. And so, in the olden days, people had a lot of kids, right? Especially they started having kids since they are very young. But for some reason, this king and queen couldn't conceive. And they actually finally conceived in their 50s. And they had this crazy dream of I, I may be remembering this wrong, but like an elephant entering through the sides and of the mother, and it's like this crazy story. But anyway, the queen got pregnant, and it was a custom to deliver the baby at the mother's hometown, right? So the queen requested to the king, "Hey, I'm gonna go back to my hometown and then have the baby." And the king gladly said, "Okay." And actually, on the way to the queen's original homeland, she took a brief detour to take a rest in a region called Lumbini, and suddenly got the water broke, and oh my god, the delivery was right there, and then boom, the Buddha was born. And now this is the fantastical kind of a lore part, but apparently he lifted his finger up and spun around in circles and six times, and then he said, uh, "Above the sky, below the earth, only I exist. All three realms are in suffering, and I will righteously save them from suffering." Okay, there's no way a newborn baby would have said that, right? But basically, symbolically, actually, it's like I think it's seven steps. Again, I don't really pay attention to the fantastical elements, but basically, it's in Hindu culture, there's six realms of reincarnation, and basically the seven steps indicate that Buddha has surpassed all of them, and the finger symbolism and the above the sky, below the earth, only I exist is like saying no God or no nothing is more important than the self. and the whole everybody is suffering, I'll gladly save them is kind of like a continuation of, there's a bunch of past life Buddha stories as well. Again, these are allegorical stories, and it's a continuation of that theme, right? Hey, like, I'm here to save humanity from suffering. But anyway, the queen unfortunately did not make it back. A few days later, giving birth, she passed away, which is something that happens super, you know, frequently in the olden days. I remember growing up, watching a lot of TV shows that had stories of mothers passing away because of the inadequate, like, postnatal care and things like that. So unfortunately, that happened. But so the acting role of the mother was done by the queen's sister. So basically, Buddha was raised by his aunt, so to speak, right? And that is the birth story of the Buddha, and you know, it's a story of a prince who got born, and if you really think about it, all the after effects of sprinkling all these spices to the story, these are done after the fact. But when you just look at it, it's a late conceived child, and the mother suddenly went into labor and then had the baby, and unfortunately she passed away in a few days, right? So what I'm trying to say is, when you just look at the birth itself, nothing that special about it. And although the Buddha is a great person, and although we all aspire to be like him, because reaching that Buddhahood is really hard, and maintaining that Buddhahood throughout his life is so difficult, we have to understand that the whole point of Buddhism is that it's possible for everyone. Buddhahood is innate within everyone. So yes, it is an ideal, but at the same time, if we keep on postponing it as, oh, someday I will achieve Buddhahood, if we keep delaying that for ourselves just because we believe we're not worthy of it, I think that's thinking about Buddhahood in the wrong way. So in this really ordinary life of a person with a very ordinary birth, what extraordinary things did he do at that time to reach Buddhahood? And how can I do that in this day and age? I think these are the questions that are really worth asking if you're a Buddhist, or even if you're not like a religious Buddhist, like I'm also not a religious Buddhist. But if you are also interested in walking the path of freedom from suffering, this is a great case study to do to apply to your life. So I know it's probably not the exact date because it's culturally influenced, but to my favorite teacher and the teacher of all mankind, Buddha, I want to wish you a happy birthday.